What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday analysis. Today is Sunday, November the 5th, 2023. We're going to be going over USDCAD again. So today we're going to be talking about what happened last week and then what we anticipate of price doing next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so right here we're looking at USDCAD, and we were originally in a market maker buy model when we were looking at this large move up here. So right here we could have seen a lot of opportunities to go long, and then after it swept a bunch of liquidity that we will see in just a second, price started consolidating. And this is what we want to look for when we're in a market maker model. We want to look for consolidation, because then it gives us a good idea of where price is heading after it breaks out of the range. Okay, so to get a better understanding, let's look at this picture right here. So from this range to this range, we're in a market maker buy model as we're going higher after price swept all of this liquidity right here. And then once it made this swing high right here, it started consolidating. So now we're in a consolidation phase. Now, after this low has been swept, or after price broke out of this range to the downside, we are now entering a market maker sell model. Now, once we enter a market maker sell model, where is price likely to draw to? Well, it could draw to many different PD arrays. For one, it could be fair value gaps like this one right here, or this one right here, or this one right here. And it can draw to order blocks, which we see all in this range. We see an order block right here, order block right here, and then we see a bunch of inverse fair value gaps right here that price could draw to. But ultimately, it can draw down to this swing low right here, which is the low that entered us into a market maker buy model. Okay, so this is why I measured here this range with the fib to see where the PD array is, and to see where our OTE zones are. And right here, we have a fair value gap right inside of this OTE. So my eyes were looking at this fair value gap, and I wanted to see how price reacts at this fair value gap. Okay, if it violates it, then it confirms the market maker sell model and that it's drawing towards sell side liquidity. But if it consolidates a little bit in this range and respects it, then this entire move right here is only a corrective pullback for price to keep going higher, because ultimately we are targeting the weekly range high, which I will get to in just a second. So we wanted to see how price reacts at this level. Is it going to violate it, or is it going to respect it and continue going higher? Okay, so throughout the week, price did come back down to this zone, consolidated a little bit, but once it entered New York session, it completely ran through the fair value gap and this low right here. So looking at this, we zoom out into the higher time frame and see where price can go or is likely to draw to. So this blue shaded area right here is a daily fair value gap that we were looking at. So right here, we could have found a good couple of entries that were possible to take, because we see that there's Asian accumulation right here. This is the power of threes. We have Asian accumulation, and then we have London manipulation after it swept the Asian high and then ran through the Asian low. So after it ran through this Asian low, shifted in market structure lower, continued the market maker sell model, it pulled back a little bit tapped into the breaker block that was created in the Asian session accumulation, and then continued making its way lower during our New York session. So here is a potential entry that could have been taken. Now, I didn't take this entry, but I was tape reading this entry. So we see this is London session manipulation, ran lower, pulled back into the Asian session breaker block, and then continued going lower. So this large move right here, if we were to measure it with our fib from this high to this low, we can take an entry right at the OTE level of this range, which price tapped into it right to the tick. Okay, it tapped right into the OTE zone of this level and then continued going lower. Alright, so this is the market maker sell model and what price did last week. Just to start the video out, now we want to see what price is likely to do next week. Okay, so next week.
Your stream just ended.
Just ended?
I mean, like your Discord stream.
Oh, okay, give me 1 second. Here we go. You see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is the range that we're looking at for the weekly time frame. Again, we're still looking at this PD array from this low to this high. Here's a premium zone and here's a discount zone. Now, price tapped back into the discount zone, filled this inverse fair value gap, this tiny inverse fair value gap that we see on the weekly time frame, then continued going higher. So I'm anticipating that price is still likely to target this high right here. Okay, but before it does that, since it ran lower, it's obviously trying to accumulate more orders before it makes its ultimate move higher to take out this weekly range high. So then we ask ourselves, where is price likely to draw to? Okay, and we see right here that there is an inverse fair value gap right here that price left behind on the weekly time frame. There is a small volume imbalance that we see right here that price already rebalanced. So now I could see price doing something like this, where it taps into this inverse, which also has another fair value gap right here that overlays this inverse. So I could see price tapping into this level, could consolidate a little bit, and then ultimately make its move higher. Now this is what I want to see price doing. If it respects this zone right here and then continues going higher, I will be looking for long positions targeting daily range high and the weekly range high, which is up here. But if it violates this level, if it completely runs through this level, it could pull back into it, run lower, sweep this low, and then refill or rebalance these imbalances right here. Okay, and if it runs through all of these, then we're just going to keep going lower and price is going to take out this weekly range low. But since we've been bullish for quite some time now, since 2022 we've been bullish, I'm still anticipating that price is going to take out this weekly range high after it pulls back and rebalances this area, continue going higher. So we just have to wait till next week to see what it is that price wants to do at this level right here, at this inverse fair value gap. So if we go down to the daily time frame, we have this daily fair value gap that overlaps this weekly inverse fair value gap. So this is a strong level right here. So once price taps into this zone, we want to see how does it react. Is it going to violate it? Is it going to respect it? Now it could push below it just to manipulate traders in order to continue going higher, because price is weird like that. It likes to destroy people's lives, but that's how it works. So we just want to see how price acts or reacts at this range right here. Okay, so that's what we have on the daily time frame. Now going down to the 4-hour time frame, we still see the same thing. So far, all of our time frames align with each other, which is a good sign. It's a good indication for us to be looking for opportunities when the setup presents itself. So these trades, don't mind them right now, they weren't taken on the 4-hour time frame. They were actually taken on the 15-minute time frame, or tape read on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so oops, here we go. So here is this first potential trade that we could have taken right here. So if we were to take out our sessions so we could see them better, here is the Asian manipulation or accumulation, London manipulation, and then New York distribution, which acted as a continuation of the London session range. Now, if we were to measure this range with our fib from the session high to session low, price tapped right back into the OTE range and then continued going lower. It did run past this daily range fair value gap. It violated it, so it's just confirming that price is going to continue going lower. Now we see the same thing here, something similar on Thursday. Here's the Asian session. It created the swing high, this pullback into this fair value gap, ran lower. London session pulled back into the OTE of this Asian session range. So if we take our fib and measure it from the Asian range high to the Asian range low, we see that price perfectly tapped into the OTE, which also rests at the low of this daily fair value gap, respected it, and then completely ran lower, took out this 4-hour range low. So these were two potential trades that could have been very profitable, because we have a 4.66 RR on this trade, on the first trade, and then we have 11.85 on the second trade. Okay, so just to recap what we talked about, what we want to see price, or what we anticipate price doing for next week, I anticipate that it's going to draw into this zone right here, this inverse fair value gap, and then I want to see if it respects it or if it violates it. Okay, if it respects this zone, then it's going to keep going higher and ultimately take out this weekly range high. But if it violates it, then it could pull back into it and continue going lower, or it could just act as manipulation in order to shift in market structure and continue going higher. So we just have to watch price, see how it reacts, look for setups, and we have to keep both sides of the market in mind. If it were to violate this level, we know what to do accordingly. If it respects this level, we also know what to do accordingly. So we're prepared for any case scenario. All right, so this is what we have for our weekly Sunday analysis for USDCAD. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the comments below. Give this video a like to help support the channel, and also you're more than welcome to join the Discord to discuss analysis in more depth, trade live with us, learn our setups, and so much more. Okay, until then, I will see you guys next time.